Hey guys, it's Evan here with Elite Watersports, and today we're going to go over some tips and tricks on how to better your kiteboarding experience with the use of a trainer kite. First things first is you want to have a secure location. You want to make sure you have ample room to launch and land your trainer kite, and also just have enough room to walk around and really learn how to fly the trainer kite. So let's get started. First, what we're going to want to do is we're going to look at the kite itself. We can see that we have open vents right here for the wind to open the cells up and fill the kite. So what I'm doing here is I need to be directly upwind of my kite right now to launch it, all right? Now, it would be helpful if I had somebody else to kind of hold it, let the cells fill a little bit and launch, but for now, we're just gonna pack a little bit of sand, make sure our bridle points are all connected, all right? This came straight out of the box, so we should be all set. Now, these lines are 20 meters long. And so what this will do is this will allow the kite to reach heights where the winds are just a little bit stronger than where you're standing on the beach. So don't be afraid to go out in light winds and test out your skills. So what I'm doing is I'm just walking my lines out, making sure that there are no twists or no knots. And see, I'm just slowly untwisting the lines. Make sure I'm perfect. All right, so we've got our lines run out. All right, notice we've got two different colors here. We've got red and green. Green is always gonna go on your right, red is always gonna go on your left. All right, so I've got my bar now, and I'm just gonna slowly pull on the bar. Now you can see the cells are slowly filling with air. If I just keep doing that, they'll fill. And look, we have liftoff, and that kite will just go straight up. All right, so now there is very little pressure on this kite. I can turn it just like a regular kite would. Now remember, what I'm doing is I'm pushing and I'm pulling. All right guys, so it's super important that when you're first flying this, you don't want your hands to be all the way above your head. You want your hands to somewhat be right in front of your face, kind of pretty comfortable. All right, and we don't want it all the way down at our stomach. You just want it nice and relaxed, but a little bend, almost as if you would if you had a harness on and were actually hooked up to a real kite. Now remember, this kite is not a stunt kite. It's simply for training purposes only. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna focus on the two sides of the window. If you can imagine a clock directly above your head, you've got 12 o'clock directly above you. You turn your kite to the right side of the window a little bit by slowly pulling on your right hand and pushing on your left. You're gonna get to 1 o'clock, and further down, you're gonna go to 2 o'clock. So what we're gonna do then after that is we're gonna go to the other side. Slowly bring the kite back up to 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock is gonna be your safety position, all right? Then we're gonna move it all the way to the other side, to the left side. We're gonna switch hands and be pulling on our left side. Notice I have a little bend in my arm right here. So we're gonna go to 11 o'clock. Then we're gonna go to 10 o'clock. The next step that we're gonna be doing is once we get comfortable at holding the kite at each position of the window, we're gonna be doing some strokes. We're gonna go from directly at 12 o'clock over to 2 o'clock and practice bringing your kite right back up to 12. So we're gonna go 12 all the way down to 2, slowly turn it, pull it back up. Now, if you looked at my body language and how I was turning my body as well, I want to keep my body turned towards the kite. I don't want to keep it in one position. That'll just be awkward, right? So you want to kind of turn your body along with the kite. One key feature that we have to remember about the wind window, the slower you turn the kite, it's going to go on the edge of the window, all right? So think about it. If I draw a line all the way around from my shoulders, all right, so I'm right here, all the way through here, that's gonna have very little power. All right, see, I'm slowly bringing it to the edge of the window, not much power, all right? However, anything further downwind of me, that's gonna have a lot of power. All right, so the further downwind you go, the more power. The quicker you turn that kite, the more power it's gonna get. Look at how slow this kite turns. If I bring it to the edge of the window, all right, going from 12 to 2, or if I dive it, you see how it turns down and almost goes directly downwind? That's your power. So anything downwind of me Think about it like cereal bowl or fish bowl is how I like to look at it. The deeper in the bowl you get, the more power you're gonna get. All right, so if you put your spoon all the way down to the bottom, you're gonna get a lot of cereal, a lot of power. All right, so that's a little fun analogy I like to use. All right, guys, following those last steps about going across the window, what we're gonna be doing is what we call our power strokes. That's gonna be moving the kite across the window, but a little bit faster. This is what you're gonna do to eventually get up on the board in kiteboarding. You're gonna turn, I'm gonna pull on the right side, all right? And then I'm gonna quickly bring the kite right back up to 12. Now it is super important to try and not let your kite pass 12 o'clock. All right, so once more, we're gonna go 12, bring it down to 2, and right back up. Notice I'm pulling with my right hand, all right? And then as soon as my kite gets low enough, I'm gonna pull back on my left hand, bringing the kite right back up. All right, so let's do this again, pulling on the right, and then pulling on the left to turn it back up. All right, the kite will then rise right back up to 12 o'clock, where we're then gonna switch sides. All right, so let's go over to the other side and see how this side works. So here we're at 12 o'clock. Next, we're gonna go to 10 o'clock. All right, bring it all the way down, and then right back up. All right, directly above your head, let it get slow, dive it down, and right back up. One more time, dive it down, and right back up. Now the reason these are called power strokes is because you're gonna actually feel the power. So this is a 2-meter kite. Now, watch what this does to me and how much it starts to pull me if I actually put power into it. I have to lean back a little bit. All right, guys. What I want you to do is find a nice spot to feel the power, all right? We're in a little bit of some light wind here, so I don't know if it'll be exact amount to pull me up, but this kite's got enough power to do some damage. So I'm gonna be sitting down just like this, and I'm gonna use the kite's power to help me stand up. This is what your power strokes are gonna come in handy for, all right? So let's see. So that kite helped me get up just a little bit, but you saw how quickly it was moving. So that pretty much has covered the wind window and your strokes. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go into one-hand kite flying. So what I wanna do is I wanna put my hand directly in the middle of the bar, so much that I can turn my wrist, all right? And look at how much that bar moves. Now remember, you gotta keep your eye on the kite, because it can get a little bit deceiving. So for this one, you're gonna wanna have your hand just a little bit more extended, and I'm gonna turn my wrist, and you see that kite starting to fall? You're gonna bring it back up. Use the power in your wrist to actually move it. Now, there's one also helpful tip that if you want, you can use. Some people like to put the thumb up, some people like to put the thumb down. I personally find that if you put the thumb up, you can use your thumb power to turn the bar just a little bit more, all right? Because you're not only just using the power in your wrist, but also in your thumb. So let's practice a little bit with both hands. Now, if I'm using my left hand, I wanna kinda keep the kite on my right side, all right? This is just opening up my body to the wind a little bit. I don't wanna have my kite over to the left, because then I'm using my bottom hand, and if you can see, my hand and my shoulder is all the way up in my face, and that's just not comfortable. So I've switched over to the left side. So let's use the right hand. All right, you can see I've got the thumb up right there. We're just gonna be flying the kite, going from 12 to 2. Now remember, it's a fast kite, so you gotta actually do it a little bit slowly. The next thing we're gonna go into is walking with the kite. This is a super important process when you're learning kiteboarding. If I wanted to walk downwind with the kite, you're gonna wanna bring the kite up just a little bit higher. All right, when you're walking upwind, you can afford to bring your kite low. When you're walking downwind, you wanna keep it high. Here we go. So I'm now downwind of everybody and I need to walk upwind. So what I'm gonna do, I can fly it with one hand, bring it down, open up my body, and I'm gonna walk, keeping my eye on the kite. All right, we're gonna do a transition, slowly walking upwind. There you go. All right guys, so now we're gonna go over how to land these kites. So if you recall, we talked about how at the edge of the window where I can put my hands, that's gonna have no power. All right, so what I wanna do is slowly bring the kite over to the edge of the window and slowly let it down. All right, so look, I'm just kind of playing with it and it's starting to stall out. All right, oh, we're about to hit the ground and boom. All the way to the edge of the window, and that kite just dropped out of the sky. All right guys, so now we have successfully gone over your training tutorial on the trainer kite. If you want to go and get some lessons, you can contact the shop, 727-800-2202. Come check us out at Elite Watersports. Let's see you back out on the water. Let's graduate from the trainer kite and go get you on a real kite.